Today I'm going to go through 5 more ways on how to mix green in watercolour. If you want to know how, sit, relax and let's get started. Now bindweed berries are very green, aren't they? They really are. Lovely little berries actually, very shiny, but it's that green. How am I going to get that green colour for that one? Now again, I've done a little bit of testing beforehand. I've worked out a colour mix of, I'm guessing, Payne's Grey and Lemon Yellow. Alright, or Lemon Yellow, Payne's Grey. Let's have a quick look, shall we? So there's my half pans there. Look, stay. Okay, let's have a quick look at the colours. So Payne's Grey and Lemon Yellow. So I'm going to go Lemon Yellow first, actually. We can try this straight onto the card for a change. Alright, so Lemon Yellow. It's going to be stronger on the card. I've not watered it down to that degree. And go for a little bit of Payne's Grey, which is just down here, look. Get some of that there. Okay, so Payne's Grey, Lemon Yellow. We'll try that one. Move that around there a bit more. And we'll add that. Oh, far too dark. Look at the state of that, look. That's not very good, is it? And there's no way that's going to match with my berries. So, okay, let's get a little bit more Lemon Yellow then. Make sure you've washed that brush out thoroughly. Remember I said that before. Just nice and thoroughly washed out. Nice and clean. So Lemon Yellow, we'll try that with Payne's Grey. See, Payne's Grey's got a hint of blue in it, hasn't it? So because of that, you find it gives you a nice green. It really does. So there's one colour green there. But let's vary that again. It's still a little bit too dark, I think. Mind you, that might be alright for some of the shaded areas. So it's not too bad from the shaded areas. So if I zoom into there, look, see what I mean? So I could use it for there if need be. But wash the brush out again before going to that yellow. A bit more yellow. Just do half of it. Okay. And we'll try that one. Now you can see now, I'd probably use this colour, bit of water on there, for the very back of this area. So it sounds like a hint of green in there. So let's just pop some of that within my mixing palette there. So Lemon Yellow. And I want this more to a milky consistency initially. I can always water it down thereafter. Now what you have to remember as well, when you keep washing that brush out, which I'm doing between colours here, is that you'll have water within the metal ferrule here. Even though you dried it on some kitchen roll or some towel that you've got, it will still be in that metal ferrule. So just remember that when you work on it, because then the water will run down there into your mixing well and it will dilute it even further. See, that Payne's Grey is a strong colour, isn't it? It really is. So I'm going to get back to there. So I'm going to go for some more Lemon Yellow. Okay. I'm a bit tight when it comes down to colours. I really am. I like to try and make use of what I've got without going too much. Not too bad. So let's go a little bit more Lemon Yellow. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Ah, now that's looking better. Now there we are. And that is roughly what I'm after initially for the first wash for that colour. And that gives some ideas how I tend to kind of mix and test out the colours to get what I want eventually. A bit more yellow, something like that for the background colour. So Payne's Grey and Lemon Yellow. So remember to roll it, pull it away, give it a light tap on some kitchen roll and then head into that painting. So it's not too overloaded. And then start to add it around the edge of the berry. You've got to look at the light and dark tones within these greens as well, haven't you? So remember to reserve those light areas if you can do. We can always go darker as we go along, that's not a problem at all. But working on something like this, you've got to try and create that round feel to the berry. So by using different versions of this green, by adding a little bit more probably Payne's Grey to the mix, or a little bit more Lemon Yellow. Payne's Grey for the darker areas and Lemon Yellow for those paler sections. Also consider the direction of the light as well. As you can see in this case, the light's really coming towards the top left hand side, isn't it? Because the good thing is we can control all of this. I know people do say that watercolour is not always easy to kind of control. With this you can, because you're being very careful where you're applying the paint. Dog rose fawns. Now dog rose fawns are really good to paint, they really are if you want a lot of structure and shape and also a little bit of danger, I know. To get the green for the back of the stem, which as you can see is very bright, isn't it? Very pale to begin with. I need a pale wash for for that background foundation wash. Okay, so let's make that one up. Now for this green, you can see it's not a bright green, is it? You can just, when you look into the depths of these little lines there, it's not really bright. So I've kind of worked on the basis of a colour mix of, let's say, olive green, cerulean blue, something like that. So when you look at my colours here, there's your olive green, okay, and there's cerulean blue. So let's just get a little bit of that, and we'll add that into our mixing palette here. So I'll go for the cerulean blue first, because I mean that's quite a pale colour compared to the olive green, isn't it? So I'll use that one first of all. Okay, I'll put that one into that one. Oh, look at that lovely colour, isn't it? It really is. And I'm going to make this more of a watery consistency on this one. It's a little bit too thick at the moment. You can see that's more creamy the way it runs down the side of the palette. If it's watery, it'll go down there really quickly. If it's creamy, it could take its good old time. But if it's milky, it could go something like that. Alright. And olive green, we'll try that one. Just a little bit to begin with. Now, that might be a little bit too much. So if we just test that a minute, where's my testing paper? So a piece of scrap paper again. I'm going to test that, and we'll offer that up to the photograph. And you can see that's nowhere near that colour. Remember this lightest colour in, if I can pinch really into that like that, look at this light colour here is what I'm trying to achieve. That's nowhere near it, is it? So, okay, what do you think we'll need on that one? I reckon we're going to go for a little bit more cerulean blue, or cerulean blue. We'll add that one in. See, that's now too blue. I think it's too blue, far too blue. So it's trying to get a happy medium between the two mixes. See what I mean? That's far too blue for that light area. If I mix these two together, however, it's a little bit better, but it's still too blue. So you've got to keep adjusting your mixes accordingly. So a little bit more olive green in there. I keep going 50-50, backward and forward, backward and forward. I'm going to water this down now. Use my pipette. Just add some drops of water in there. And we'll add that one to there now. Now that's nice and watery. And that's looking better. Bit more green in there. Try again. Now there we go. That, I believe, is about the right colour. So if I just offer that down there, that's not far from, is it, eh? That's not far away. Okay, so that's what I'll use for the foundation background colour for the stem of these dog rose fawns. So the first thing I need to do is add a little bit of water now to the right hand side. Now I'm doing this because I want to blur this colour out to the white of the paper. At least that way around, we haven't got to paint a kind of definite edge to it, you know. So just kind of fade it away right to the white of the paper so you can't see where one colour starts and the other finishes, or where the white finishes, should I say. Well, I'm going to drop this colour straight in now, but where I've wetted right to the very end, I'm going to stop the colour a little bit before that, because I want it to naturally blend from the colour through to the white of the paper anyway. So I don't paint the colour right to the very end, because it's a bit pointless wetting further then, isn't it? So always stop a little bit before the end, just give it a chance to blend. I would much rather start off with a very pale colour, because once it's nice and dry, you can add another layer over the top, can't you, if it's not kind of dark enough. But you need that pale colour underneath so you can start adding the details over the top. And in turn, eventually that will give you plenty of shape towards the stem, because you'll have the lightest colours and then the darkest tones as well. Now bright greens can be difficult to mix in watercolour, can't they, sometimes? And they can also look quite false. So let me just show you a little clip on something where I've used bright green. I know, look at the state of that. Bright green, colourful, it really is. So this is a tree frog, very, very nice as well. So I want to work out the colours for this, and I'm just looking at the reference photograph, and just from previous testing for similar colours as well, I think I'm going to go for a mixture of olive green, Gamboa hue, and also phthalo blue. So there are going to be 3 different colours I'm going to work with that. So if I just position that there a minute, excuse all the reflections again. So I'm going to turn that around, and we'll start off, as I mentioned, with a little bit of olive green, which is that one there. Okay. So olive green, and we'll pop that one in that one there. I need some water in that, don't I? So let's have a couple of drops of water in my pipette here. So olive green, that's a bit better though, that's more like it. Bit more. And I want this, at the moment I need it more of a creamy consistency. Gambo Hue, which is that one there. So I'm going to give this a good old mix because I've not used this one for a little while. So Gambo Hue, go on lad. I'm using a stiff bristled brush here. That's not easy to say, you know, sometimes, a stiff bristled brush. So Gambo Hue. And we'll pop that one in there as well. And I just want to blue it a fraction. Just a little bit of blue in there. Because that's nice, that's green. If I just use it on its own lot, you find that there, let's go right to the edge, shall we? There we go, something like that. And I offer that to the reference photograph. That's not far off actually. We could use just those two colours for this if I wanted to. But I'm thinking about the more kind of bluey areas like here, look. And also this section there. And that's nowhere near that, is it? It's okay for further up, but not for there. Again, it's well worth testing before you make a start on a painting. So I need a little bit, as I say, of phthalo blue. Now this is really strong. Really, really, really strong. And because it's strong, it's going to affect it quite quickly. It really will. So I've just gone for a small amount, a very small amount in there. We'll try that one. Now look at the difference in colour. You can just see that one and that one. Compare them side by side. See what I mean? And there's your difference. Just by adding that, just a touch of phthalo blue in there. And what a difference that made. Now I can offer that up to there and you can see that's not far away, is it? That's pretty close. So that's how I would mix up the colours working on this frog back. And obviously for the yellow, it's going to be, well, yellow. Now let's start around here, shall we? I want to start by stippling first. And all that is, if you've never done it before, it's just lots and lots of taps. That's all it is. Allowing all of the colour to show through, but just keeping all these little dots quite close together. And the closer together the dots are, the more intense that colour will look. And also give you more of a round feel, more of a shape. So when you get to an area where there's kind of less shape to the frog, I'll lessen the amount of dots I'm going to add in that area. So I'm trying to add texture really to this frog's skin. But we've got a bit of a nostril going on here as well, so we've got to make sure we can define the edges of this nostril. And we can either stipple those edges, alright, so carry on stippling, we can just very lightly, using the very tip of the brush, just draw a very faint line around it. Just remember that is there, where I've just put my dot, okay? So a little frog nose, poor thing, little frog nose. And then what I can do is also wet it using the size 1 brush, but don't have that brush too wet, just have it damp, okay? Otherwise you're going to blend all this together and you won't see all these little tiny dots. Now here's another beech leaf, but this time it's a summer beech leaf, and you can see the vivid colours in there, can't you? And this little critter at the same time. So again, I've got to try and recreate these colours in green, but what we're going to use for that one? Looking at the colours, I think for this one we're going to go for vivid green. That's very bright, isn't it? Vivid green. Olive green, okay, and also phthalo blue. And I want this initially to be watery, because I want these kind of lighter pale tones to be in the background. You can just about make out within all these little sections inside this leaf. You can see why I always have a very large photograph, can't you? Especially the veins that you can see here. See, these are quite pale, aren't they? So let's try and recreate that if we can. So I'm just going to put that down there like that. Stay, thank you. And get my little testing card as well. Move that around. And the first colour, as I say, is going to be vivid green. Now vivid green, as you can see, is this one here. Alright, so that's vivid green. That one's leaf green. But look how bright that is. Oh dear, and it is very sticky as well with my half pans here. So I'm going to pop that one in there. Look at that. Wow, that is bright. But that's a little bit too bright, as you can see, for that photograph, isn't it? It really is. And as I said, I want this to be more watery consistency as well. So I'll give that brush a good wash out in the dirty and in the clean water as well. So I've got 2 water pots, like a split water pot. And I'm going to go for some olive green, which is this one here. So olive green. I'll pop that in. And we need to adjust this backward and forward until we get the right mix. But don't forget, this is now a triple mix. Because to me, if I just try that on its own, and get that scrap watercolour paper there a minute, you can see that this one, this colour, even though it's toned it down a little bit with the olive green, is still not quite the right colour, is it? I mean, we probably could use that in some places, but not for all of that. I mean, you can see that even if I zoom in, it's not quite there. Nearly there. So to do that, I'm going to make a little tiny addition to this, and that's going to be that phthalo blue. So that's this one here. but not much. It's very strong, very rich. You find that varies with different manufacturers as well. Probably a little bit more then. And that colour, look at the difference in there now. So that's got phthalo blue in it. Let's try a little bit more. Again, not too much. You can see it changing within the mixing well, and I'm losing paint every time I mix it because this brush is soaking it all up within the bristles, and when you go to wash your brush out, then you've obviously wasted all of that. But you have to remember that as well when you're working on it. Now that's looking much better. So having this more of a watery consistency, so a little bit more water in there, look, something like that, will be ideal for working within the background washes. So those first initial colour washes. At least that way around I can adjust this as I go along as well by adding a little bit more phthalo blue in there maybe, or maybe a little bit more olive green as a work around each section within this leaf. Now there's so many different greens that you can make from your colour palette, there really are. I know we've all got blues, we've got yellows, haven't we? And sometimes we've got more than one, sometimes we've got quite a few. I know I have. But have a look at what kind of combinations you can make with those colours, blue, yellow, and even the greens that you've got. So you've got hooker's green or sap green or olive green, you know, there's even more than that as we know. Try and mix in a colour with that, like a yellow or a blue, and see what other colour combinations you can make for your green palette. And make a little chart to see which ones you've got. Actually, you'll be quite surprised. I'm working on this little dragonfly here, and it's a stem, the green on the stem I'm trying to achieve. But that's quite a deep colour, isn't it? It's quite a deep green. So quite a dull green as well. So what do we need for that? Now I've kind of thought this through, and I'm thinking of the colours of Gambo Hue, Phthalo Blue, and also Burnt Umber. Oh, by the way, this is all the greens within my mixing palette here. I know you can really have a good play, can't you? So if you've got spare paint, play with it and see what you can do. So, testing piece of paper once again, okay? And we'll give it a try between those colours. So Gambo Hue first of all. It's got some fresh paint in here, by the way. I tend to use tube paints very often within my kind of half-pan blocks. A little bit of water in there. A couple of drops will do. 1 and 2. There you go. So I'll pop that in there first. And I want this more probably to a milky consistency. So I can kind of start working on the details within that stem. So Gambo Hue. And we'll go for the Phthalo Blue. Now Phthalo Blue is very rich, so just go to that one. We'll try that. And that's quite a pale green really, isn't it? We can have a look at that anyway, just so we can give it a blast. So pale green, try on one corner. And I can see straight away that's far too green, isn't it? Far too bright. So we need to tone that down a little bit. So let's go for a little bit more Phthalo Blue. I'm going to try that in there now. Now that's getting deeper, isn't it, in colour now? Much, much deeper. Probably needs to go a little bit bluer than that yet, because it's quite a dull green, isn't it? I see it's getting better. Not there yet. So a little bit more Phthalo Blue. I'm always washing my brush out between doing this. I don't want to get kind of blue into the yellow and vice versa. So a little bit more in there. And you can see every time I do that, it's getting a little bit bluer rather than green, isn't it? More on the blue side for obvious reasons. See what I mean there? Look. Not there yet. So you can adjust this as you go along. And I'm going to go now for a little bit of Burnt Umber. Just that one there, look. Burnt Umber. We'll try that, and that'll just dullen it down a fraction. Now you can see that it's slowly getting there. So that's what I tend to do when I'm working on mixing colours. I like to play backward and forward with all the mixes to see the kind of colours I'm getting. Look at that. Now that is getting quite close, isn't it? It really is. So I'm going to go straight into the Burnt Umber again. A little bit more. And don't forget you can mix this on your test paper as well. Make sure it's the same paper type, or the same paper preferably, than your main painting, okay? Because you find the colours will work the same way on both pieces of paper that way. And you can see that is getting close, very close indeed. So if I just grab some Burnt Umber off camera a minute, drop it into there, and I can see straight away that is about right. So let's pop some in there, look. Try again. And that is how I'd mix the colour to start working on the details for this stem. And we can start to pick out the shapes that we can see within this area. Just get a little bit more colour in there first. And the way it comes down. I'm not going to paint all the way down because I need to paint over there first. There's nothing worse, especially when you're left-handed and you're putting your hand in the paint. Because you've just painted it all the way down there. Looking at where this comes down to here, they're just opposite that sort of joint there, isn't it? On this one. So I'm going to just map that out as well. Work out where things go before we start filling too much of an area in. The only thing with a fine detail brush is that you do have to keep reloading, so it's handy having your paints quite close to the painting for that reason. And then we can literally fill in all this area here with our green colour going down. There we go, that's looking better already. So now we're getting this mapped out, we're starting to come together a bit more. Now take a look at the video to the right where I'll show you some more colour mixing combinations using watercolour. I'll see you there.